Hey, Pastor Scott here at the Weekly Word. We're going to take today and then the next 4 weeks after it talking about Jesus himself. And we're just calling it Speaking of Jesus. I've been reading the book aptly titled Speaking of Jesus recently. A former missionary who writes this compelling argument of when you're talking to people, when you're telling them about something important, just talk about Jesus. Focus on Jesus. Don't go into doctrine or rules or religion or some super deep theology that you learned. If you're talking to somebody about Jesus, then you're talking about the one who matters most of all, especially if it's people who don't believe in Jesus yet. Go to Jesus, not go to rules first, because they don't know the one that it's all about. And he tells this story in here. He was at a conference one time with a bunch of different religious leaders, and this Muslim guy came up to him afterwards, and he says this. I'm just going to read it, my handy dandy bookmark. Thank you, bro. Scott, you are awesome, it says. The guy comes up to me. He's a Muslim imam, and he says, "Sir, you had an unfair advantage." He said, "While we were busy defending our religion and our positions, you simply talked about Jesus. You cheated." And then he let out a huge laugh, and he slapped him on the back, and he said, "Good job," and he walked away. And then he writes this after that interesting moment there. He says, "I wonder if that sums it up. We, Christians, followers of Jesus, believers in Jesus, we have an unfair advantage. We know the Creator. We're friends with the King. We know where truth is found and its name. We know what brings life and what gives life and where eternal life resides. It's not fair. While others are explaining and defending various isms and ologies, we're simply pointing people to our friend Jesus, the one who uncovers and disarms the beginning and end of the story." Jesus says in John 10:10, "I came to give life abundant. I came to give life to the full. I came to give an overflowing life, not rules, not dictations to walk by every second of the day, but I came to give abundant life." So, a question I have for us, did Jesus save you? I mean, if I ask myself that question, it's yes, He saved me. Did Jesus save you? Or did rules save you? Or did doctrine save you? Did theology and doxology save you? No. No, it didn't. Jesus saved you. So then a second question is, what were you saved from? For me, it was pride and anger mostly. I mean, I was so full of it, and I was full of it. I was full of pride, and I lived out anger. For some, it's debaucherous lifestyles. For some, it's addictions. For some, it's just wrong thinking. For some, it's fear or shame or rejection. Whatever it is, what did Jesus save you from? What did Jesus save you from? Because theology didn't save you from anything. For me, I just want people to know Jesus. And I get off track sometimes too. We all do. That's why we live in fellowship and in community. But I want people to know Jesus, fall in love with Jesus, and then follow Jesus. And from there, we fall in love with the Word. We fall in love with doing the things Jesus calls us to do. We fall in love with Him, and then we do what He asks us to do. And then we go out and we live out the gospel because we're so excited. It's easy for me to talk about my wife, because I just love her so much. It's easy for me to brag on my kids and talk about my kids. They're the greatest. It's easy for us to talk about those that we know and love so much. I'm fine with a great car. I'm fine with a bad car. I don't even talk about my cars unless I'm joking about my minivans. I just don't care. I talk about those people I know and love the most. So, do you love Jesus? Were you saved by Jesus? What were you saved from? And are you speaking of Jesus a lot? Are you telling others about Jesus all the time? If you're going to talk a lot, talk about Jesus most of all.